Hi everyone, thanks for watching Access Hockey MI. Today we're going to cover the Grand Rapids Griffins special teams. So that's going to be the power play and the penalty kill. That is something that we've seen as the struggle, at least of this season, besides all the roster moves which happen the last few seasons at least.
Literally every team goes through it.
Yes. Besides the roster changes and, the typical things that teams go through and the ebb and flow of finding your chemistry and finding your lines that work, these two things can make or break a team in getting to the playoffs and in the playoffs. So if you don't have your special teams down, there's a good chance you're probably not going to go far. So that is kind of what we see as the issue currently.
It is our struggle bus.
One of the issues lately. So we're going to talk about that and kind of the difference maker between, what we've seen in the last few games to even this past weekend. So February 4 and 5. Even this past weekend, what changed? So let's go into that.
Yeah. So just a couple general stats for you. So since 2018 and 19, that season, till present day, our worst power play finish is actually this current season. We're at 12.7 power play efficiency. The best that we had was actually in the 2020-21 season. That was 21.5%. So obviously, season to season, a dramatic decrease. For penalty kill, our absolute best was 82.6% in the 19-20 season. And our worst was last season at 74.8, and we're currently at 76.2, so not too far out.
I was going to say, we're kind of getting there.
Yeah.
And this basically means, let's talk about this season alone. So we are last in our division in both these categories, which shows every game when we get a power play and we can't capitalize it more than almost 13% of the time.
Yeah.
Which basically, that just means we might not even get a power play goal in a game. Is kind of if you want to think about it in that term. So usually when you're given a power play, it's like, yes, we can get a goal. Yeah. Usually for us, it's like what's gonna happen?
What they're gonna do?
And then on the PK, it's also last in this division, which is it's just something that holds you back as a team,
right?
And it really makes you just down. Even shorthanded goals, things like that. So. Yeah. That's kind
of takes the wind out of your sails when that
Yes,
happens.
yeah, it does.
So all that to say, all those numbers, just to kind of put it in a little bit even smaller context, in our division alone, in the last 3.5 seasons, we have finished dead last for special teams. Now, we play some incredibly fast teams, and this season is no different. We've got the Chicago. Golly, I'm forgetting. Wolves. The Wolves, I'm sorry.
I was like, what are you trying to think of?
I dislike them so much, I don't even remember their name. But the Wolves, they're an incredibly fast team. Yeah, and they're kind of teetering right in the middle of the pack, but still they're a very fast team, and they're able to capitalize on those opportunities against us.
This is kind of side note, too. The thing about the Wolves is they score without the power play or the PK. You know what I mean? So they score without the power play. So it's if they get one, it's like, oh, cool. Whereas it's like, all right, usually for a team in our current situation, be like, all right, let's get a power play so we can get a goal.
Just one.
But it's not something that can happen right now. And the thing about looking at the different seasons is, of course, you're going to have different rosters. You're going to have different lines, different teammates, leadership. Different chemistry, different leadership, different power play coach, even from the time that we're talking in 2018-19, different coaching staff in general.
Yeah.
So, there's so many things that go into it, which is why we have a hard time talking about it, because it's like, it's hard to pigeonhole how to change that.
I literally have a note that says, what changed? And
what's going to do?
Everything.
But basically, as you can tell, it's critical. If you are tied in a game and you get a penalty and you can't kill it, you go into OT. If you're tied in a game and you get a power play and you can't score, you're going into OT. It's just things like this. These are the things you need to capitalize on. Like I said, in a playoff setting, it's very important as well, and it's important even getting to there. So, of course, improvements to be made are obvious. And we're going to talk a little anecdotally, which is basically we have one game that we're going to reference, which just happened Saturday the 5th of February, that changed everything up to this point.
Yeah. It was what we need to see on a consistent basis. So
it was weird.
It was super weird, actually. It was like a good weird, but it was weird. It's like, who is this
So team? Rachel's been really diving into power plays the last few games. So why don't we talk about the lines you've been seeing and the lines we saw this past game.
So the last couple games, so last week was a 3-game week, so it gives us a really good opportunity to get a cry and we're used to getting our hearts broken at this point. So what I've noticed, and even going back to Wednesday's game against Toronto, where the line changes and the chemistry you see in a line could make the entire difference with its effectiveness and its efficacy. And that's what you see in other teams too. So whereas, whether you start 2D and 2 forward or 3D and 1 forward, I never see 3D, but 1D and 3 forwards for the penalty kill, things like that, they make a big difference. And so, we had been seeing like New Power, Brian Lashoff, Renuff, all those guys, those are the chosen D, but you mix it up with Kyle Criscolo, who is a gritty forward. That kid will go head first and dive head first and everything.
Yes.
So, and we had Dennis Yan, who was also serving on the PK and power play. So recently we got Joe Veleno back. We are not going to count on him staying.
You can't.
We can't. He's here for conditioning.
I was going to say, I think it's temporary. Yeah. Everything we've been seeing.
Anecdotal.
Everything we've been seeing is temporary. You know, they had the All-Star thing going on this last weekend. Yeah. He's getting a lot of play time.
He is. He's on both special
he's
teams.
on power play and PK. Right. So this is anecdotal. We're not going to spend a ton of time on him. Yep. But that was one of the biggest switches between the game. Because he was there last Friday and Saturday, but he wasn't there Wednesday. And coming into Saturday was even different than Friday. So he was paired with, on the PK, with, Kyle Criscolo and Voleno, and then the 2D, and then it was Berggren and Voleno, and then the 2D, and then they threw in
Hiroshi. Got thrown in there. Yep.
So that was different, and we ended up getting shorthanded goals.
Two shorthanded goals.
Shorthanded goals. So
and a power play goal.
For a team that has not been doing anything good with the PK and PP, this was but we have to remember that Voleno's in the mix. He's not the bread of it, but I think that the fact that we were adding, Criscolo in there, we were putting guys in this power play or this PK that were actually, they were both defensive and offensive minded. So they can protect the puck, but they can also force the issue and try score.
Yeah, for the power play, I had noticed too, up until Saturday's game, it was Spezia and Shine, who are both big, gritty guys, or not
also
big, but
good at D, though.
They're very good at D, so they were actually swapped out for Hiroshi and Berggren, so you had high skill to it instead. Of course, it depends on which team you're going against and all that, and who their top line is. But all this to say is that switching up the lines and adding Voleno, which again, he's not going to be a long-term staple in Grand Rapids.
I guess let's say then adding guys on the team who aren't. It was a different attitude to the penalty kill. It wasn't a let's just get through this and kill it off.
There was confidence.
It's let's get through this and kill it off. But hey, if we can force the issue and get it into their zone and keep it possession, even better. And we have a few guys on our team that can do that, of course. And I think that putting them on that line was very interesting, and it played out well.
Yeah, and I think with our special teams in general, and again, this is more anecdotal, and we're not professionals, obviously.
No,
we're not coaches. But what I had noticed, and what we've noticed over this last season, is that when we're on the penalty kill, it's like Janae said, you're just getting through it. You're just surviving. You let them set up, you do your thing, you block a million shots, shatter your kneecaps, whatever. But just
sacrifice your face.
Exactly.
Take it for
as long as you get through it. And with the power play, it was we're taking too long. We're taking shots, but they're not quality. It's just it's suddenly hurried because we've taken all that time to set up. But the game, there was, shot after shot after shot.
We outshot our opponent in both of the games. Yeah. And that doesn't always... if you outshoot them and you can't capitalize, because there's one game where we did that and we got
40-something shots.
Yeah, we didn't capitalize the next game. And of course the anecdotal because it depends on who you're playing, but as a whole, in a season, having your special teams on it is very important. And you can see that in the most popular right now, the best teams right now are good in both those categories. Yep. And that is not an accident. That is intentional.
You want it to be where the other team, when you get a power play, they go, oh, crap.
Because that's how it was in 16-17 when we won the Calder Cup. It was we knew we were getting a goal. The other team knew we were getting a goal. We were that good at the power play and at the PK. Yeah. So right now, the Griffins are not doing superbly. We just broke a 7-game losing streak, which was great to do. Got to keep going up. The momentum is there. We have to, right now we're below even playoff contention, which is unusual for the Griffins to be in. And this is the point of the season.
This late in the season, too.
At the point of the season, we should be on the upward climb, which I think we could be. We have the skill. We have the ability to. It's just going to depend on how we can perform in our division. Right. And like I said, we have one of the best teams right now in the league in our division, which makes it hard. We've not yet beat them.
Chicago.
Hey.
Could you please stop?
So if you haven't gathered it yet, what needs to change right now is special teams. That would help. I'm not saying that would fix it. I'm saying it would help.
It would. I think getting that in order would help the confidence of the team, because the last game they played with confidence, that assurance, we're gonna get a goal. We have to get a goal, and I think that's something that's kind of sometimes gets lost in the translation, and then all the transition that happens in the AHL. I think that gets a little lost. but also just kind of tying it back to even overall team growth and team development, organizational development, and our prospects.
Yeah.
They need to be the ones taking charge and stepping up.
Oh, yeah.
Berggren has been doing a great job with that. And same with Sabrango. And when they get their opportunities, they've been doing a really good job. And you want to see more of that where don't wait for the other guys. You be the one to lead the charge, just like when Voleno's back.
Power play and penalty kill translates to the NHL.
It's like a big deal.
When your team is looking at you, that's going to be something like, oh, they're good on the PP. Like and they're good on the PK. They're really good. They're offensive. Those are the things that teams are looking at. So the fact that I think the Griffins put Voleno in the games he was back on the power play and penalty kill, I think that's good for his resume.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think he was doing some of that in Detroit, but if he can capitalize more on that, he's going to become someone that they're going to be able to rely on.
It's really painful when he leaves again.
I know, it's so sad. It's so nice to have him back.
I know. I just love having Joey.
So that goes in through to the development, the team development. And of course there is the argument to be made, of course, just staying out of the penalty box is important. We're
doing pretty good with that so far.
If you're bad on the PK, staying out of the box is important, but there's going to be those games, there's going to be those refs that want to penalize you a little more than other refs.
We won't name names.
But it's just, it happens. You're going to be in the box. Stay out of it as much as you can, but if you have to protect your teammate, punch that guy in the face.
You absolutely punch him in the face.
But if you go down and you're just like your team's already down.
When they're holding on to the neck and they're just skating in circles for like 5 minutes, just hit somebody, please. You make me want to get out there and hit somebody.
So basically, I think we're a little scattered in this one, but the gist of it is that the power play and the penalty kill are very important in a playoff run and in the regular season getting there. If you don't have those two things down, you're gonna handicap your team.
Yeah.
And it shows. I think this is what's showing in our division.
However,
we are going. There is something that's also kind of weird, and this is kind of like off topic too, where Texas is also in our division. They're really good on the PK.
Yeah.
Or on the power play. Which one was it?
It was the PK.
And they're last in our division. So it doesn't mean everything, but I'm saying that we have the tools to where if these two things got in check, I think it would we would just keep going up.
And I feel like this is something too, like over the last couple of seasons, it has been a continual thing. So I don't know if there's structurally something that has to change. And this is again where it's like this is just all anecdotal. This is just calling it like we see it. And when it comes to special teams, the numbers do matter. So when you look at the percentages, at the end of the day, they do matter. So, we always say, numbers aren't everything, but in this, it is. You want to be the most efficient you possibly can. Yeah. You're giving an opportunity to get ahead, and you're just not taking it.
Yeah. So, that is what we think about the special teams in Grand Rapids. Let us know in the comments if this is something you've noticed, if you'd like to see someone on the power play or the penalty kill that you've not yet seen, how great it is to have Joe back for a little while.
Shout out to Grand Rapids fans. They almost sold out even though we were on a 7-game losing streak.
Because we just love our team. We love our team. We're here for you guys. Yeah. And thanks so much again for watching. Let us know. Subscribe. We were supposed to say that in the beginning of the video. Darn it.
Pretend this is the beginning. Subscribe.
Like, comment.
Share with your friends.
And we will see you next time. Bye, guys.